हेलो फ्रेंड्स, मैं हूं अमृता एंड आई वेलकम यू टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल कीप लर्निंग विद मी। आज फिर से मैं एक नई वीडियो के साथ हाजिर हूं आपके सामने। जो हम आज की हमारी वीडियो है वो उन स्टूडेंट्स के लिए बहुत हेल्पफुल होने वाली है जो या तो KVS की प्रिपरेशन कर रहे हैं या फिर DSSSB की प्रिपरेशन कर रहे हैं। आज हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं क्लासिफिकेशन एंड द फॉर्म ऑफ इंग्लिश लिटरेचर। Literature has given a chain of genres like prose, poetry, play, essay, novel, criticism, drama, and short stories. Literature can broadly be divided into three major forms: poetry, drama, and prose. As literary genres को इस मैप की हेल्प से समझने की कोशिश करते हैं। अगर हम लिटरेरी जॉनरास को देखें तो इसको 4 पार्ट्स में डिवाइड किया गया है: फिक्शन, नॉन फिक्शन, पोएट्री एंड ड्रामा। फिक्शन में आते हैं नॉवेल, शॉर्ट स्टोरीज, मिथ्स, टेल्स एंड लीजेंड्स। और नॉन फिक्शंस में आती हैं डायरीज, बायोग्राफीज, एसेज, स्पीचेस एंड ऑटोबायोग्राफीज। और अगर हम पोएट्री को देखें तो पोएट्री के अंदर आते हैं पोएम्स, सोनेट्स, बैलेड्स, पास्टोरल्स, लिरिक्स एंड सॉन्ग्स। एंड ड्रामाज में very famous form of literature is drama: comedy, tragedy, tragicomedy, farce, melodrama and pantomime. So now we will discuss poetry. Poetry is such a composition where words are put in collaboration of thoughts, actions and feelings. A poetry enhances the charm of writing by allowing the words to be used figuratively as well as literally. Many thinkers defines poetry. Some of them are follows. जैसे सबसे एरिस्टोटल defines poetry as a speaking picture with the end to teach and delight. Sidney calls poetry as the most ancient and the most fatherly antiquity, as from where other learning have taken their beginning. Thus, so we can say poetry is the earliest and the most powerful form of literature. Now अब हम थोड़े जो मोस्ट कॉमन हमारी लिटरेरी फॉर्म्स हैं जो एग्ज़ाम में बहुत ज़्यादा पूछे जाते हैं उनको थोड़ा सा देख लेते हैं, जिसमें सबसे पहले आता है द वर्ड सोनेट इज डिराइव फ्रॉम द ग्रीक वर्ड सोनेटो मीनिंग अ साउंड. इट इज़ अ शॉर्ट पोएम ऑफ 14 लाइन and the Italian poet Petrarch was the first to use this form of poem to express his love for his beloved Laura. He divided his sonnet into 2 parts: the octave of 8 line and the sestet of 6 line with a pause after 8 line. Its rhyming scheme was AB BA AB BA CDE CDE, and its meter has been generally pentameter. The Petrarchian sonnet is also known as Italian sonnet. Octave may also be divided into 2 stanzas of 4 line each, called the quatrain, and the sestet into 2 stanzas of the 3 lines each, called the tracts. The English sonnet have 3 quatrain of 4 line each and a couplet of 2 line. The rhyming scheme of Shakespearean sonnet or English sonnet was AB AB CD CD EF EF GG. In his sonnet, Shakespeare had shown his intense love for the dark lady and had made it immortalized. The English sonnets are also known as Shakespearean sonnets. Sir Thomas Yat was the first to write sonnets in England. His Shakespearean sonnet और Petrarchian sonnet के बाद यहाँ पे हमारे पास थर्ड टाइप का sonnet भी है. There has also emerged a third kind of sonnet. It is a combination of Petrarchian sonnet and Shakespearean sonnet. So it is called irregular sonnet. The chief writer of the irregular sonnet is William Wordsworth. He wrote irregular sonnets for combining the beauties of the both types. The sonnet has been used for different purpose. In the beginning, it was used to describe the beauty of the beloved and to analyze the nature of the poet's love. Today, it seems to be out of fashion, but it has a great survival power. Some important sonnets are Astrophel and Stella by Philip Sidney, Amoroti by Spenser, Holy Sonnets by John Donne. Let's talk about some another important form of literature, ode. Ode is a serious and an elaborate poem worked out in detail, expressing the poet's longing or his prayer made to a personified object, idea, or a deeply respected person. Ode had its origin in the ancient Greek tragedy. It was sung to inform the audience of the nature of the coming tragedy. When it was sung in the beginning of the tragedy, it was called the parados, and it was called the stesima when it was sung after each episode of the tragedy. The Greek poet Pindar was the first to write odes. It is of two kinds of ode. So, we have two kinds of ode, the Pindaric Ode and Horatian Ode. The ode poem. Now we will discuss Pindaric Ode. Pindar, the greatest lyric poet of ancient Greece, was the father of this ode. It has a fixed stanza structure or pattern. The number of stanza may vary, but they are arranged in group of 3. Each group big each group being called a triad. The first stanza in each triad is also called a strophe. One half of the chorus sing this part while moving to one side of the stage. The second stanza in each triad is called an Anti-Strophe. It was sung by the another half of the chorus while moving to the other side. The third stanza in each triad is called Epode. The whole chorus sing it standing between the two sides. Thomas Gray's The Progress of Poesy and the Bard are the best example of Pindaric Ode. And now we will see Horatian Ode. This kind of ode has been named after the Latin poet Horace. It consisted of a number of stanzas with a more or less metrical structure but without any division. The simplicity of Horace's ode gradually made it popular. Pope's famous Ode on Solitude, and William Collins' Ode to Evening are the best example of Horatian Ode. Some important odes are the Ode on the Nativity of Christ by Milton, Ode to Duty by Wordsworth, Ode to the West Wind to a Skylark Shelley, Dejection, and Ode by ST Coleridge, Ode to a Nightingale, Ode on Gracian and by John Keats. Now we will discuss some another important form of literature, that is epic. An epic is a long narrative poem which celebrates the life, heroic deeds and achievements of a great hero. It is a long narrative poem of dignified theme, organic unity, orderly progress of action and grand style. It relates great events in a grand style to lead to a very novel conclusion. An epic is considered the highest genre of poetry. The Mahabharata and the Ramayana are such an epics. Virgil's Aeneid and Milton's Paradise Lost are also its examples. In English poetry, the earliest epic is Beowulf. The mock epic is a parody of the real epic in a light and non-serious mood. It is written on a trivial or funny incident in a satirical spirit. The classical convention and the supernatural machinery of a real epic is used to provoke satirical humor. Alexander Pope's The Rape of the Lock is a good example of mock epic. Now we will discuss another important form of English literature is lyric. That is lyric. A lyric is a short musical poem which is which is meant to be sung by a single singer to the accompaniment of a lyre. According to Ruskin, lyric is the expression by the poet of his own feelings. It is marked by singleness of theme and singleness of emotion, which is often said. Normally, lyric is of two kinds, personal and impersonal. In a personal lyric, the poet expresses his personal emotions, and in an impersonal lyric, the theme is impersonal. The earliest lyrics were written by Greeks, and lyrics was introduced into England by Sir Thomas Yard. The early 19th century saw an outburst of lyric poems. Now, Wordsworth and Coleridge and Shelley and Keats all produced a good number of lyrics. The famous lyricists of the modern age are W. H. Davis, Robert Graves, and W. B. Yeats. Next important form of literature is ballad. A ballad is a tale in the form of a song. It is a song or a collection of songs sung by wandering singer from village to village to the accompaniment of a harp or a fiddle. It is generally glorified by the brave deeds and heroic exploits of historical and legendary heroes and knights. The objectives of the ballads was to entertain the audience and excite the emotions in them. Its basis upon history and unwritten histories, legends or supernatural folklores. Personal thoughts has no place in it. The ballad poet narrates a complex tale in a direct and simple manner. The language of the ballad is formalized and conventional. The ballad are written in 4-line stanza called quatrains in iambic meter. The first and the third line have 4 iambic feet, and the second and the fourth line have 3 iambic feet. And some important ballads are The Rime of Ancient Mariner by ST Coleridge, La Belle Dame's Mercy by John Keats, The Lady of Charlotte by Tennyson, Harvey Real's Browning, King's Tragedy by Rossetti. Another important literary form is satire. The satire is a form of literature which may be used in prose, poetry, drama, or novel. The term satire refers to a literary composition in which wise, foolish, or a foolish person is held up to ridicule. The satire are known to have been originated in Greece. A good satire should be without malice or vengeance. It should be meant to ridicule and not to abuse. They expose the follies and the vices of their age or the contemporary institutions. The largest literary form of the satire is essay. Probably the first English satirist is Chaucer. The classical age of Pope and Johnson also saw satires in prose. Social satires are more popular than personal one. Here some important satires: The Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer, Absalom and Achitophel by John Dryden, Rape of the Lock and the Dunciad by Alexander Pope, London and the Vanity of Human Wishes by Dr. Johnson, The Battle of the Books by Jonathan Swift, Pickwick Papers by Charles Dickinson, The Silver Box by John Galsworthy, The Cocktail Party by T.S. Eliot. Another important literary form is elegy. The elegy is a poem of mourning or lamenting on the death of someone. It had its origin in ancient Greece. It is judged by its theme or subject matter and not by its meter or stanza form. In English poetry, the elegiac meter has been iambic. The theme of the elegy has been a mixture of lament and melancholy, reflection. A personal elegy is developed through pastoral conventions and classical mythology. it is presumed that the poet is a shepherd who mourns the death of another fellow shepherd. The first great pastoral elegy was written by Edmund Spenser. It is entitled Astrophel. It was written on the death of Sir Philip Sidney. The second great pastoral elegy is Milton's Lycidas in 1637 on the death of his friend King Edward. The third great pastoral elegy is Shelley's Adonais in 1821 on the death of Keats. The fourth great pastoral elegy is Arnold's Thyrsis in 1867 on the death of Hugh Clough. Here are some important elegies. The elegy written in Country Churchyard by Thomas Gray, In Memoriam by Tennyson, Rugby Chapel by Matthew Arnold, In Memory of W.B. Yeats by W.H. Auden. फ्रेंड्स, आई होप कि आपको मेरा ये लेक्चर समझ में आया होगा. अगर आप